there, not long after I won my first culture game on Deity did I manage to do so again with science. And of all the people that I managed to do this with, it was Lady Six Sky, the much maligned Mayan leader. Let's have a look at her. So, she has Ixmuto Ajo. Non-capital cities within 6 tiles of the capital gains 10% to all yields when founded and receive a builder. Other non-capital cities receive minus 15% to all yields and plus 5 combat strength to units within 6 tiles of the capital. So she is all about proximity. It makes sense that she's one of the AI that has the agenda that she does. She doesn't want anybody interfering with her lands and all of that sort of stuff. And to be honest with you, I got quite lucky to winning this game. And in part, it was because I had quite an amount of land that I could personally settle to myself. I wasn't entirely isolated, but I had everything I needed to make at least 7 or 8 really good cities, all with this exact benefit. So, very fortunate. But it was a learning process because she has other things too, and one of the things that obviously is important for science is her specialty district, the observatory, a district unique to the Maya for scientific endeavors, replaces the campus district and cheaper to build, +2 science bonus for adjacent plantations, +1 science bonus for every 2 adjacent farm or district tiles. And for someone like me, who does perhaps maybe take things a little too literally at times, I am Asperger's. I see no information here about its relation to mountains. And for that, I assume that observatories are just as desiring of mountains as campuses. But as you will see, that is most certainly not the case. This is a turn 1. I figured that I really liked everything I was seeing here because there were mountains that I was hoping to take advantage of, and that there are a whole bunch of different opportunities for plantations with the rainforest and the olives and the bananas and so on, that I figured, you know what, let's save this and see what happens. Fortunately, I can talk about it because it went pretty well. But you will see in this coming video all the strange and challenges and ups and downs of the game that allowed me to learn more about how to win science on Deity. Not much has happened, but in the first 6 or so turns, we've already established that we have coast to our west, which is not bad, but we want to make sure we have enough land. We have 2 possible places for more cities. We want to make sure that they're within 6 tiles of Lady Six Sky's capital, which I'm pretty sure both are 6 away, giving us that much needed boost to yields and the precious builder. We also are going to get ourselves a nice Pantheon. It's only turn 6, and I do believe we were lucky enough to get a tribal village give us a relic. So, like I say, the luck was definitely in for this game. And lo and behold, we have access to a much desired sacred path, which with the amount of rainforest that seemingly is in all this territory, we're going to be able to benefit tremendously from producing a whole bunch of holy sites. There it is! The first prophet has a flash of insight beneath a starry sky and bows in thanksgiving to unseen gods. So yeah, pretty awesome start, I would say. Hello, you join us in the early stages of this game, and we're about to make our religion. We are the first to make it, by the way, which gives us an opportunity to do literally anything we want. But yeah, look at all the options we have available. It's really nice to get an early religion for any sort of relevant win con. Obviously, culture with choral music can be really strong. I think the best one for us here is Feed the World, and I believe that is what I went with. And then I could get the Watt as well, because getting extra buildings means that all that adjacency bonus stuff applies to it as well, and all of those benefits. But in addition, it was a nice, easy way to generate quite a bit of science that can then be furtherly boosted with all the other modifiers going on. And we're starting our way to making a whole bunch of settlers. Now, the key would be, though I'm not sure I do so in this game, to get Magnus in the capital and start churning out settlers as quickly as possible. We already have a couple of markings for city centers. We actually already have a settler waiting for this quadrium to try and be defended. Probably going to need some kind of either galley or something to protect that. But look, we already have what should well turn out to be quite a profitable game with the favorable terrain and the favorable... Look at all this. Look at all these olives. It's quite remarkable that they have 3 olives in the same area. This would be a perfect place for a campus. Not a campus, an observatory, I should say. Unfortunately, I actually choose, I believe, to put a city center here. +1 gold, +1 amenity for every luxury adjacent to the city center. So for the amenities, I'm like, all right, cool. I'll do that. Still not thinking that, to be honest with you, while it's nice to have your city center adjacent to plantations, it's more important to have your observatory because they don't care for mountains. This is going to be a running trend, which is when you're learning, arguably the point to take from this is when you're learning, perhaps you want to be a little more focused in your choice of civ and not pick someone with a specialist district, because yeah, it certainly threw me through a loop, and then I was like halfway through the game cursing my luck that I just so happened to pick a civ that doesn't benefit from all this wonderful mountains. But anyway.
Hello, you joined us 30 turns in from last section, and I want to talk about knowing your vision early, because knowing your vision early has allowed us not only to make sure that we have a city to the east of our cap within 6, holding off this Egyptian advance. We also know that we want to build our settler to go here. We have other cities in our midst, in our mind over here, and even to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, perfect distance from our cap with the potential for getting an aqueduct here. But we know what we need to do, and we know what we need to prioritize, which is to make sure that we get this city online, because that is where our neighbors are. In addition to this, because we are Lady Six Sky, and because I'm able to make the civilization that I want to make, offering an opportunity to a building I don't usually build, wondering if it will benefit our efforts in science, and that is the audience chamber. The audience chamber talks about how it gives +2 amenities and +4 housing in cities with governors and -2 loyalty, specifically loyalty, not amenities, which is what I originally thought it meant, in cities without governors. That's a relatively low cost for quite a high gain. And given that we are Lady Six Sky and we have a bunch of cities, not too many mind, but we have enough cities that all get a builder anyway, we do not really need to worry about getting the Ancestral Hall, because the whole idea is that you want to get a free builder with an Ancestral Hall. It does offer the 50% increased production and whatnot, but usually I don't necessarily tend to use the same city between the government plaza buildings and the cap, because the cap is the palace. So, giving this an opportunity, wondering whether, because the science game ends up with you utilizing particular cities towards the end game to do most of the legwork with the project up to the final bit, given that we're playing as Lady Six Sky, I really feel this offers an opportunity at least to see if this trade-off, if the audience chamber is worth it. And you will see in the coming games whether you feel that it is perhaps better in certain circumstances than the general advised Ancestral Hall. Almost 90 turns in now. We're right in the mid-game. We've established our empire. All our cities are in place. And it's certainly by this point that I have fully realized the tragedy that is that observatories do not bloody care for mountains. very sad. But you know what? It's not really a dig on observatories. I see a lot of slating against Lady Six Sky, and you know what? I actually think most of it is quite unfair. I've seen other specialist science districts by now. I won't mention them. That'll be for another time. But let's just say it's not just Lady Six Sky that doesn't seem to give a damn about mountains. And this is such a haven for mountains. It's a good thing we have a religion, because at least I can make use of this +5 craziness with a holy site. And some other holy sites are going to be enjoying that too. Of course, we also have the Sacred Path buff, so we're getting one here, and so on and so forth. It is now when I will start to try and utilize spies. We've just made our first Batzek, and what we want to do with him is Tech Boost. Tech Boost is really cool, and there is even a civic later on. Unfortunately, I have shuffled because I can't actually show it. That allows you to steal 2 for every successful Tech Boost spy mission. So we're going to hopefully utilize that to catch up to everybody else. We're currently in the mid of science. Egypt is leading. They only have 37 though. We're only 5 techs behind. So we're actually not doing too badly for our current position in the game. But in the coming turns, in the later part of the game, you will see how we take that lead, we start to move forward, we use the spies to benefit our own research, and we will soon be looking towards how to close this out. You have joined us now in the late game, around 40 turns since the last section, and we have just unlocked our tertiary government. And not just any tertiary government, but communism. And the beauty of communism, of course, is that it gives you the inherent effect of plus 10% science, which when we're in a science race is pretty damn useful. Some people don't like how many military slots there are for this government. I'm well aware of that. However, I do feel that even in this late stage, even when you're not going to war, there are certain late game military slots that can be very useful. Of course, you can have the plus 100% industrial zone benefit from guilds. You can also have movement for your builders increased and things like that. You can even have unit cost reductions and things just to make sure that your economy is running smoothly. It is not the worst thing in the world, in my opinion, to have this government when going for a science race. Science is, at the end of the day, the key resource to being able to get across the line, to be research everything in time, and along with production, to be able to win a science game. So I still really value this particular government, but I definitely understand why some people prefer to use democracy. However, we have, of course, as I was just talking about, acquired our tech boost. And this has been going on now for maybe 20, 30 odd turns. It's been very useful, very helpful to our overall science tree, which we're now nearing the end of. We get a whole bunch of boosts there. Pretty insane. Let's go into the tertiary government. And of course, we get the era score for having gone into a tertiary government, which is always nice. But you see here, plus 100% industrial zone adjacency bonus, military academies and seaports, especially because, you know, I do have some coastal cities and I do like making use of that. And even Renaissance walls, which is fairly straightforward to get, give you more science. There are definitely ways to benefit science, and we are currently reduced by minus 21, which is no small portion at all, by a unit, so we could definitely go here with this. There are also other options. If we want to make sure we get those Renaissance walls, we could choose limes, make that a lot easier. There's definitely, even plus amenities. Amenities might actually be more important with our increased production and everything than everything. So I'm actually sport for choice here. I don't think that with a good knowledge of your policy cards that you are running short of good options in the military slots. And of course, we want to make sure that we get potentially even this. This is a really nice one to get. I do love my domestic trade routes. Only culture games do I really care for international trade routes. So I'd probably go with that, to be honest with you. Yeah, let's do that. So now, you can see even some have finished making their spaceports. And we are about to enter the final stage of the game and actually take our mission to Mars. So this is it! The final turns! And one last secret, in case you weren't aware. There are certain things called off-world missions, and the reason why you build a whole bunch of spaceports and not just one. While the first set of missions might be only available for one, your best spaceport, once you get into these, build terrestrial laser station, launch Lagrange laser station. These two operations help speed up your acceleration for the final mission, which is of course the exoplanet expedition. As you can see, mine is currently moving at an alarming rate of 6 light years per turn. We are in a race with Clea. As we saw earlier, she was in the lead, and she's been in the lead for most of this game, but not the end. And we are only 8 light years away. While she's stuck treading at a modest 1 light year per turn because she hasn't done these off-world missions, they are absolutely crucial to making sure that you beat out the competition and win in only a few turns and not the specified original 25. So if we were to pass the turn, you'll see that we have launched yet another terrestrial laser station. There it goes. Very nice. And a second laser station. Remember, we were 8 miles with a current 6 light years to go. We've also disrupted someone else's rocketry, which presumably was Cleo's. And so now we're at a whopping 7 light years per turn with 23, more than enough to get the job done the following turn. So if we just pass again. Look how silly this is. These are all submerged tiles that the game doesn't show. But you can tell because of the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus, which is also a vital part of winning science with the engineers and the boost they give you to the science race. Et voila! Victory! Yay!
Forward into the unknown.
Nous
First
gagnons.
pioneers set forth on an uneasy course. And yet once again did our people thrive. Now, under your leadership, we plot a new course. And make another
There's
world
that exoplanet
our own.
that we need to get to. So hopefully you found this both enjoyable and educational as you yourselves do your best to try and win science games on Deity. There is a lot to glean from. There's more than even this video could show. But we will be doing more in the near future and hopefully really getting to grips with everything that is to do with Civ 6 science victories. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and join me next time where we will win yet another game of Civ and learn even more about this beautiful game.